Okay, welcome back, kiddos. Now we are moving on to 10.1, and we're going to talk about special segments, lines, and arcs in circles. So let's get right into it. All right, so first off, let's talk about what a tangent line is. A tangent line, okay, is a line that touches a circle, which we mean intercept. So if it touches a circle, that's the same thing as it means it intercepts at only one point. Okay, at only one point. So if we see this line right over here, it touches right over there, only at one point. Okay, and so that point, so this is going to be our tangent line. Okay, and right over here, point P is the point of tangency. Point of tangency. Okay, so we got a couple different terms here. The first one is the point of tangency, which is right over there. And I'm going to put this in a different color. The tangent line itself is this right over here. Okay, so the tangent line would be line, what would we call that? We would call that line M, right? Line M is the tangent line. Line M is the tangent line in this picture. Okay, so one thing that we do know about a tangent line, we said is it touches at only one point because a line that's tangent to a circle, if and only if it is perpendicular, okay, which means meets at 90 degrees, right? So it's perpendicular to the radius. Okay, so if we see right over here, we have that box, right? So that tells us that that's perpendicular, right? And we know that this is the radius, right? That's called the radius, right? Right over there, because that's the line that goes from the center to the actual circle itself. So a tangent line is perpendicular to the radius. All right. So what I've done is I've included this chart right over here that gives a even better description, right? So a line that just touches the circle as it passes by is called a tangent, which would be this one right over here. Okay. Next time, excuse me, we're going to talk about what a secant is because that cuts through it. That's the difference between a tangent and a secant. Secant cuts through it. Tangent just touches. Okay, and we'll talk later about a chord. Okay, which a chord is a one that does not pass through. It just has endpoints. Okay, one point on the circle and the other one. And then if it passes through the center, it's called a diameter. Right? We talked about a radius, and now we're going to talk about an arc as well today. Okay, so our arc is just part of the circumference, part of that circumference. All right, so let's get into some practice. It says identify the highlighted part of this of circle O or P. So the highlighted part of O or P. So we see this right here is highlighted, and so that's called a center. Okay, that's called the center of the circle, right? All right, what about this? Which of these segments is a radius? Okay, so a radius means from the center to the circle, right? From the center to the circle. So let's look at these. KA. So K to A. Is that from the center to the circle? No, it goes all the way through, right? So that's not good. All right. That's actually a diameter, right? Ka is a diameter. All right, what about Pa? P to A. P to A is a radius, right? That's going to be our correct answer, PA. All right, let's keep it moving. Okay, which of these segments below is a diameter? So a diameter goes through the center, right? Uh, from one side to the other. Okay, so from one side to the other. So this one right here goes there, but it's not straight through there. Right? This one goes from one side to the other, but not straight through. So this one right over here is the diameter, right? Goes from one side to the other. So that one is R to X, right? R to X. So that's why that's our correct answer, RX. All right, what about this one? Which of these lines or segments below is tangent? All right, so that's our key word, tangent to circle P. So we said a tangent line has to just touch it. So it needs to be on the outside. So which one of these is on the outside? This one right over here, right? That one right there goes on the outside. So if we're going to say that this is our tangent line, right? If this is our tangent line right there, what is that? Would that be called? That would be called HM, right? HM. That would be the correct answer. All right, so that's our practice on our first page. So let's go ahead and do those first Delta Math practices, and we'll get back to the other stuff. Okay, so make sure that you have used this on this practice before we move on. So now let's talk about a term called a central angle. Okay, so central you might think is from this center, right? So an angle, central angle, if we look at over here, it's an angle whose vertex is on the center of the circle. So we remember a vertex means the corner or the point, right? The point of a angle. So this right over here, we would describe that as a central angle. This one right over here. So we would call that angle ACB. Okay. So on this one, the central angle is angle ACB. Okay. Now, here's the deal. The sum of all the central angles of a circle, so if we add up all these around, is always 360 degrees. All right, so the sum of all the central angles, and we know in a circle, if we go all the way around, is 360 degrees. All right, so keeping that in mind, let's talk about how we can utilize those. All right, so what this does is a central angle, if it's like a pizza, it cuts out what we call an arc. Okay, so an arc is a piece of the circumference. Okay, so the arc, ARC, is a piece of the circumference. So you can think of like an arc being the crust of pizza. Okay, so the crust of pizza. And the central angle is the size of the slice of pizza. Okay, so that's how you can think of those. All right, so the central angle is the size of the slice of pizza, right? How much we're cutting, okay? And then the arc is going to be the crust of the pizza, right? So that's what we can think of. All right, so keeping that in mind, let's talk about how we would name those. All right, so a minor arc, okay, so if we see this right over here, this is what's called a minor arc. A minor arc is less than 180 degrees. Okay, so when we name it, we're going to use two endpoints. Okay, so that means it has only two letters in its name. Okay, so if we see this right over here, this they want us to name, but we're only going to use two letters. I see three letters here, so we use the two endpoints. So this is an endpoint, right? And then this also is another endpoint. Okay, so if we're going to name this, we're going to use those two endpoints. So we're going to say this one is named QV. So we're going to say arc QV, or we'll say like this, QV, and we'll use this symbol right here for the arc. Okay, so if we're going to name that highlighted arc, that's what we're going to name. Either arc QV or just like that, where it says arc QV, because we're only going to use two endpoints, which is only two letters. All right, so that's what's called a minor arc. So a major arc is something like this. You see this highlighted right here. So a major arc is at least 180 degrees. So that means at least halfway around the circle. Okay, at least halfway around the circle. So if we see this, this is more than half. That would be half right there, right? So it's more. So this one it's named using the two endpoints and a point in the arc. So two endpoints and a point in the arc. So in other words, 3 letters. Okay, so this one uses 3 letters, and then this one is 2 letters. All right, so we said it uses the 2 endpoints. So J is an endpoint, right? Okay, and then Y is also an endpoint. Okay, so then we can choose any point that's on there. Okay, so I could actually choose U, S, or N as the third letter. All right, so here's our answers. We could say arc Y right on the end, then U, J, Y, U, J, or we could say it's arc Y, S, J, Y, S, J. Or we could say, what's the last one? Y, N, J, Y, N, J, right? Arc Y, N, J. So those are our answers right over there. Okay. Now we could also have those symbols. We could say arc YUJ is like that. Or we could say arc YSJ is like that. Or we could say arc YNJ is like that, right? So those are different ways that we could write those same answers, okay, either way. All right, so now that we got that down, let's get right into some examples over here. We said that whatever we cut out makes a arc. The arc is going to be arc measure is going to equal the central angles measure. Right? So if this measure of this is 50 degrees, this arc is also going to be 50 degrees. All right, so the arc measure would be 50 degrees equals the central angles measure. All right, so that's what we're going to keep in mind on this practice right over here. Okay, so now that we recognize that, this one says, in this circle, measurement of angle BCD is 80 degrees. All right, so measurement of angle BCD. So what that means is go from B to C to D. It says it's 80 degrees. So let's just mark these indications, right? That's what that means. That means that's an 80-degree angle, right? So it says solve for X if the measurement of arc BD, right? That's what this means, is measurement of arc BD, right, is equal to that many degrees, right? So we could say this arc right over here, which is BD, is equal to 8x minus 39 degrees, right? We would say that that's how much that is. Well, if they want us to solve for x, that means we need to first, so step 1, set up the equation. And then step 2, we just solve. Okay, so let's do it. Step number 1, what do we know? We said that this measurement is equal if this is a central angle, right? We said the central angle Right over here, we said the arc measure is equal to the central measurements angle measure. So we're going to set up one measurement equals the other, and then that's how we're going to solve. Once we start with a true statement, that's what we're going to solve. So if 80 equals 8x minus 39, we say 8x minus 39 equals 80 degrees, right? And then if we're solving for x, we just have to solve, right? So I know the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 39, right? If I add 39 there, I'm going to add 39 there. So that gives me 119, okay? And then those cancel out. So I'm just going to divide by 8, right? Cancels out. So if I put that into my calculator, go and type that in. We're going to say 119 divided by 8, right? And that's going to give us approximately 14.875, right? So it says round to the nearest tenth, right? So that means one digit. So we're going to underline that 8. We're going to ask that 7 what to do. And the 7 tells us to bring down a 9, right? And then we work backwards. Okay, so x is approximately 14.9. And that's going to be our answer. Okay, nice. Let's keep it moving. Let's look at right over here. Okay, so let's keep it moving on this last one right over here. So on this one, it says, in this circle, the measurement of arc XZ is 77. Okay, so the measurement of arc XZ, so XZ is from right here to there, right, for that arc. We said that that is 77 degrees, right, 77 degrees. Then it says, the angle XYZ is 10x plus 21. XYZ is 10x plus 21, right? Okay, so if they want us to solve for x, right, first step is we need to set it up. What do we know about this and this? How are those related? Well, if it's a central angle, we know that 10x plus 21 equals 77, right? So we're just doing the same thing over here, right? On this one, they tell us that the angle is 80, and then they tell us the arc is that, and so we set it up. On this one, they tell us the arc first, and then they tell us the angle, but this is both the same problem style because we just set it up and installed from there, right? So let's go and do it. Let's make it happen, right? So we're going to subtract 21, right? Cancels out. 10x equals 56. Now, I know you can do this, especially once we talk about it, but think about that. If it's dividing by 10, what are we going to do? If we divide by 10, all that does is means it moves the decimal place 1 to the left, right? So if you put that in, you would get the same answer. That's great. Answer is x equals 5.6. All right, I know you got this. If you have any questions, just let me know.